All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Yaroslav Burchenko. I am the Chief Market Analyst at Olymp Trade. And today you are in for an interesting webinar. We are going to go through the earnings reports for Apple, Caterpillar, and Exxon Mobil. Those are three different industries, and you guys are going to get an understanding and you're going to learn new techniques for trading in the financial markets. Now, it is the first hour of the US markets. It is the most important hour when you're trading. So right now, we're not going to go into details about the contest that we have, but make sure that you remind me that I tell you about the contest more closer to the end of the webinar. So first things first, let me know that you guys can hear me and see me. Please go ahead, write that in chat, and let's get started. So first thing, we always want to have a look at what's going on in the broader market. So today we're going to be looking at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So both of those markets are in a nice, slow, bullish trend. And also another main catalyst that we're having tomorrow is the interest rate decision from the Federal Reserve of the United States. So as you guys can see, the market open has been explosive. It has been a nice up bullish trend, and the same thing goes for the NASDAQ market as well. So we did have a bit of a correction. So right around 1630 markets open, up and down, and then we shoot down. The stocks themselves, we'll have a look at them, but you guys can see that there's a broad sense of optimism. Now, if you guys were in at the market open, you could really catch some nice moves. Here we have a touch, just a precise touch of the Ichimoku cloud. I haven't changed anything, so this is one of the technical indicators that we use, and definitely a good place to buy from. Let me go ahead and see what you guys are writing in chat. Perfect. Thank you guys for your feedback that you guys can hear me and see me. Perfect. So let's see what's going on in the first hour of trading with Apple. So they're having their earnings report tomorrow. It's going to be a really important conference call, as the second quarter is usually always very difficult for Apple, and for a lot of companies, it's usually the slowest out of the year. So we have this bullishness. So this is the open today, and after the open we have a bullish candle. When you guys see something like this is important, pay attention. When you guys see an engulfing candle on the 10-minute time frame, this is big. A lot of the day traders that trade these markets, they trade on the 5-minute candle and the 1-minute candle. This is usually what you see. So when you see something like this, there's minute after minute stable growth around the third or fourth candle. You want to open a position in that direction. You guys see here that these candles were kind of iffy, right? These aren't, but these are big fat candles that swallow up the previous move. So this is a little bit too risky for me. I'm a family man. I want more stability in my life. So when I do trade the open, when I'm trading stocks, I trade something a bit bigger. So the 10-minute time frame is that perfect line in the middle between the half an hour and the 1-minute candle. So when we have an engulfing candle like this, so that's when I want to open. And this whole candle could have been a profit for my trading system. Now, we're still not out of the woods yet. We haven't broken the local highs we had last week, or excuse me, at the start of this week, but we're very close to it. There was some negativity around Apple and stocks in general, and I will teach you guys where to find that information. So let me go in to talk about Caterpillar. Now they are in a little bit of a slump. It's been a difficult road, but the stock action, the stock price is showing really good results. They are their systems, their heavy machinery is used across the whole world, and they're opening up more affiliates in Europe, and they have production in Europe, in China, and in the United States. So really, really diversified. This company is really diversified. Now they did have a nice scare for us last year, but as of this year, you guys can see that we are hanging around above the 50 EMA, and these the yellow line and the red line are right here. So this is the 9 EMA and the 26 EMA. All of these lines, they act as a place of support when we are trending. And obviously you can see that we're trending here. So if we drop down to the 10-minute candle, we can see that on the opposite side of the spectrum, this is more of a down day. So when we do have an open, so right around this candle, we had this doji candle, a nice shot up, and then it came down. So this kind of makes me, I want to stay out of this trade. This isn't a clean cut trade like the one for Apple. Right now, we're discussing short-term trading strategies, and later on, we'll go into talk about the fundamentals and the earnings reports. So going on to Exxon Mobil, this is a struggling sphere all the time. When you do look at the oil stocks, first thing you want to do is have a look at the actual oil itself. So here we have in commodities, we have Brent crude oil, a good gauge for you. Now, when you do look at oil, you want to check out the broader picture. Where is it going in the next few days? And so you can see that we have been trying to reach new highs. Oil has broken out of the nice slump that we were in at the end of the first quarter, and it's been really kind of slow and stable. There isn't enough demand from the market to have the price of oil rise. You guys, I do see that you are really active in chat. As soon as we transition more to the end of our webinar, I'll answer most of your questions. All right, so please be patient. So in the short term, oil is going absolutely nowhere. We can have a look at the price of Exxon Mobil and see where it is going. So after the market opened here, we have we started from this level here. We started from down here, so more close to the bottom, had a big candle up, and then we came back down. So this bullish candle right here is showing us that we're likely going to continue this move from yesterday, because all of the desire to go higher was shot down. I do want to have this candle close before we do start making any kind of those really short-term active trades. Another thing I do want to remind you guys is that here we are in over or just got back from oversold territory close to the bottom. Looking at the broader market, we can see that again it's in the middle of a triangle, and a breakout from here could be either to the top or to the bottom. And we'll discuss a little bit deeper what the future is of the energy sector. So that's basically kind of a short-term analysis. Short-term analysis of the market. So this is my live account. I don't have any positions on right now. I just returned from vacation. So we are going to start with Apple stock because tomorrow they have their interest rate meeting, or excuse me, they have their earnings report and also the interest rate meeting. And also another thing, there is a meeting between the Congress of the United States and Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google. Those companies, they have a quasi-monopoly over the tech industry. And so they are now in the process of negotiating with the Congress of the United States on the matter of antitrust. This is an important topic that hasn't been touched in over or close to 100 years. And so we are now coming back to that phase where multinational conglomerate companies, they have a monopoly on whatever their sector is. And Apple is also going to be a part of that discussion. So this site is called finviz.com. It gives us a great understanding of all the technical data. We're not going to go through all of this technical data in and of itself, but I will show you how to use these tools. So another thing that is quite important, but you shouldn't necessarily base all of your trading decisions off of, is what the major investment companies and major banks in the United States. So Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, UBS, these are Citigroup, these are the Morgan Stanley, these are the biggest investment banks in the whole entire world, not only in the United States, but in the whole entire world. So whenever they publish this kind of data, so right now the stock is at 37,373. We are waiting for price to, so the expected price is again a little bit lower from JP Morgan and Credit Suisse as of today. And we have other companies, again, these are not mainstream companies, so Canaccord, Needham, Weedbush, they're expecting price to rise above 440. So a little bit of a dissonance. Now the fact that just recently Credit Suisse published that they're expecting it to drop to 340, that's pretty huge, that's pretty big. So I'm going to tell you what the expected earnings are right here. Here we have the earnings reports. This is for the first quarter, this is for the last quarter of last year. So you guys can see that the finish for 2019 was awesome for Apple, and the prognosis that they had was awesome as well. They're opening up new production facilities in China. They had their new Apple 10, the new flagman cell phone, and now with the coronavirus hit, we're expecting something really low. Now, as you guys can see historically, the second quarter for Apple is usually very difficult. So we have kind of the same picture where we're expecting something a lot lower. Now, the forecast for the first quarter of last year was, of this year, excuse me, was 225, and the earnings per share were 255. So a bit above the forecast. And actually, Apple has been doing that really stably. That they have been beating the forecast both in earnings per share and in revenue. So this bodes well. This bodes well for Apple. But again, one of the things that does happen in the financial world is that investors look or that the people that make the forecast, sometimes they underpin when there's interest to make the stock appear more optimistic. Now, one of the things that I do want to direct your attention to is the fact that we have dropped down. So we are trading at a discount from the general trend. We are trading at a discount from the general trend right here. This kind of move down, and it's been predominantly bullish. So after we have corrected, there hasn't been overly enough proof that we are going to dip down and go lower. We are not looking to sell Apple. My forecast is that we are likely going to continue up higher. And the reason I say this is when we look again at the NASDAQ index, in general, the NASDAQ has not only broken historical highs, we are at really close to all-time highs ever in the history of the planet, but we're also very optimistic and very bullish. The corrections that we do have do not drop lower than the 26 moving average. So this is a big signal that, hey, we are in an uptrend. The only thing that does worry me is that when I do get in on a position and I want a big position, I want it to drop down lower. So perhaps maybe the 26 is enough, but again, I would be more willing to buy, say, if we drop down to the 200 EMA or the 50 EMA. Nonetheless, we are very high above the Ichimoku cloud, and the Ichimoku cloud isn't fat like we have here. When it's really, really fat, that's an indication that, hey, we're going to have a correction soon. Right now, it's kind of thin, and so the prognosis, the projection that we have for Apple is that it's going to continue growing. Now, if you guys are interested, there's a lot of other financials that we can have a look at. Apple doesn't pay dividends, or excuse me, they do, really, really small dividends. But you can have a look at some of the ratios, the price earnings ratio, price to sales. The main thing here is that they are well above the industry averages. So here we have the industry averages. So again, that's why Apple is now involved in an antitrust lawsuit with the United States, or it's not at a lawsuit yet, but it is very serious with the negotiations that are going to be going on. So in general, it's a good company to invest in. If you guys are looking for an opportunity to invest and then keep it there, Apple is definitely one of those things. And remember, with the Olymp trade platform, you can keep positions open indefinitely. Again, as long as there's growth, you can cover the commissions, then you'll be good and you'll have a good money-making asset under your belt. And all of those that I mentioned, Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon, especially Amazon, they are all really good investment vehicles for the long term. So that's in a nutshell about Apple. Again, they are reporting tomorrow after the market closes. So if you want to get in on some of the hype, again, appear or be in attendance at your monitor around the first hour. Trade in the direction of the main. If there's a main concrete trend, trade in the direction of that trend, and you can close the position after that first hour because there's usually some chop. But again, tomorrow we will really see where the stock will go. So now let's have a look at Caterpillar. So Caterpillar in general has been in a wild kind of gyration for most of this year. This is probably one of the more bigger channels that I've seen, and that's due to a lot of the pessimism going around the coronavirus. So when we did have in mid-April, we had the spike in Spain and Italy of coronavirus infections. That really caused the price of Caterpillar to change. In general, it's a really strong stock, and as you guys can see, this kind of technical pattern that we have here is, in my mind, so this kind of pattern right here is a great entry point. So we have a big spike up and then a small correction, and now price is hovering around this level. This is usually where I would buy. Now, for those of you that have been to my webinar before, you guys remember that the trading strategy that I recommend to beginners or even to all traders when trading stock is you want to take a really strong, solid stock and then wait for it to get to all-time highs. Again, this isn't all-time highs. We haven't reached the pre-coronavirus levels, but we are in a similar kind of situation where the trend is bullish and we're close to breaking out of a very strong level. Now, the first breakout, which was here, which was 2 weeks ago, did not cause us to continue up higher, but the correction that we had afterwards really makes me more confident in the signal that we will get from this stock. And we have a confirmation from the relative strength index and the fact that we are making higher highs and higher lows, but what we don't have is confirmation from the MACD. Now, this is where I teach you how to correctly use the different indicators that we have. When we open up the indicator button, we have a look at trend indicators. And then we have oscillators. So the MACD is an indicator that you use when you are in a flat. Now, when looking at the general stock of Caterpillar, this does not look like a flat to me at all. This looks like a bullish trend. So again, we don't pay attention to the MACD if we're not in a flat, but we can use a an indicator, something like Bill Williams or pivot points or even Bollinger Bands to show us the trend. I myself don't use either fractals or parabolic, but as you guys can see, the indicator has been screaming buy all throughout this area. So what I'm looking for when trading a stock like this, I want it to break out and then retest to the level around here, and that's where I will buy again. So because Caterpillar is very it oscillates very heavily, it goes up and down quite often. It's not a very linear stock like Apple. As you guys can see here, this is the way Apple travels. Caterpillar travels up and down. So this is another thing that you should keep in mind when trading stocks. So I want it to shoot out and then come back down. That's when I will get in on Caterpillar. So let's look at their previous earnings report and what it looked like. So they're on a downtrend. This is why I was saying that they're in a bit of a trouble. It's been last quarter of 2019 did not live up to analyst expectations, and that's what we're kind of seeing in the near future. So their next earnings report is the day after tomorrow, so it's on Friday, and the forecast is quite negative. They're looking to make less than $1 on each share. And so the revenue fall, you guys can see, has been quite stable. So again, what we expect in the short term from this in the earnings is a little bit of pessimism. So despite the technicals looking very good, and we do have, so this is where we layer technical analysis with fundamental analysis. When we do have that breakout, what are we going to expect? We're going to have to expect a false breakout. So make sure that you guys are aware and ready that if the day after tomorrow price comes out, and remember today we also saw some negativity. When we looked at the first kind of hour, there was some negativity, and in this channel here, no, it's been predominantly bullish move. But again, we're still trading below the Ichimoku cloud, so another thing to really consider when trading short term for this stock. So one thing that we can expect in the short term for Friday is that the stock may break out or break out tomorrow. And then on the news of the stock, we'll have a gap down. So to me, this is kind of a difficult stock to trade because we have such a wide selection of stocks that me and you can choose from. I would recommend staying away from the stock in the short term. But say there's a good report from Caterpillar, which is very unlikely, but nonetheless it can happen, then you have all of the confirmation that you need in order to open a long position for a few days. Now, how long do those positions last? You guys can kind of see on the daily graph. When we do have a strong signal, again, it usually comes after a down move, so you can usually keep a position open for a week. A week would be a solid, good holding time if you want to capture the most out of a move and then kind of allocate your money towards a different asset. So let's move on, you guys, to Exxon Mobil. Now, the thing with energy stocks and with energy in general, if you guys are aware at all of what's going on in the world, you'll know that Europe has put forward a plan that in the next 10 years, by the year 2030, they are going to be completely off all gas automobiles. So gas will no longer be used as the fuel for automobiles, and all of the automobiles in Europe, by law, if you are going to own an automobile in Europe, it has to be an electrical vehicle. So right now we have companies like Tesla, which are skyrocketing. Their capitalization is bigger than General Motors, which is unheard of. General Motors is a historically huge and popular company. So I just saw a question right now by Global Feed. He said, "Sir, please tell a good strategy for non-VIPs." As you can see, my friend, I have a non-VIP account. Despite my account being $30,000, I don't have a VIP account myself. So the strategies that I teach you guys are on a basic account. I'm just using the basic indicators that are available to everybody. So there's no VIP in my trading. So you guys have the opportunity to trade all of the things that I teach you. A risk-free trade is something that the company offers as a benefit to our clients. Basically, you can trade on our money. You put a trade down and we will give you that money to trade. So basically, you don't risk anything from your account, but whatever you earn, you keep. So it's a way of our company saying thank you for participating in challenges, for participating in competitions that we have, a way of giving back to the community. So I'm going to continue with with Exxon Mobil. So in general, the world is moving more towards green energy, right? Hydro, air, solar, wind and solar. So those are going to be the main technologies, and you can see that all across the world. It's not only in Europe. Canada is pushing forward. The United States, despite them being a huge oil producer and consumer, is also dabbling and investing heavily into green energy. So come next few years, these companies are going to be worse and worse and worse. So when we're looking at, say, tech stocks like Apple or IBM, we're looking for them to go up, right? When we're looking at any kind of oil company, Shell, Exxon Mobil, we're looking for those companies to go down in the global sense of things. So when you're investing in them, make sure that if you're looking to buy them, like in June, we had that nice spike from the oil market due to OPEC increasing production cuts. When you have a reason to open to the top side, then do so. If you're just trading the technicals, make sure to not to not look for bullish plays unless you have a reason to do so. So looking at Exxon Mobil, looking at their financials and earnings ratios, we see a mixed bag. Sometimes the earnings per share outperform. Their revenues always outperform, again, because the forecast in general for that sphere has been so low. What can we expect? They also are releasing their earnings report on Thursday. Now, guys, besides looking at the numbers, one of the things that you should do if you're interested in trading the specific stock or company, what you want to do is also listen to their guidance. Now, unfortunately, I believe here, news and opinion. So we don't offer guidance here, or not we, but another place where you can get guidance. I'm glad that we touched upon this together, you guys. Here we have a lot of the market news from a lot of websites that offer really good data. And what you should look for here is scandals. Now, the biggest scandal that happened lately out of the major stocks that I trade was in Facebook. So we had Facebook drop down severely on some scandals, and then basically they were not promoting, but they were allowing free speech or hate speech on their platform. And a lot of people started boycotting Facebook. A lot of people started saying, oh, I'll never use Facebook again. And their stock legitimately fell quite heavily. But you know what happened? All publicity is good publicity, and a lot more new people joined the platform. And then we had crazy growth up again to all-time historical highs. So this is one of the things that you should watch out for, and where you can see that is from the different things that are published in news catalysts. Whenever there's a big scandal, usually in times of turmoil and problems, that is what? It's a good time to make money. You better believe that during the coronavirus, companies like Amazon had the best season of their history. So any kind of online company that does their business online had the best results in history, because people are bored. People are sitting at home. People are using their computers, and so that's what we can expect from tech stocks. Now, when looking at the oil sector, we're obviously having a different picture. Now, this last paragraph right here on FinViz is insider trading. This is another important thing that you guys want to keep track of. This is basically the people that actually work in the company. They also own stock. They can own and trade stock as they wish. But they have to report that in a form called Form 4 to the Securities Exchange Commission of the United States. And then the SEC publishes that information for people like you and I to know. So when there are a lot of problems and the vice president and treasurer and a lot of the other main vice presidents start selling a lot of their shares in the amount of 500,000 and so forth, then that's a big clue that, hey, maybe we should sell as well. So these oil guys, they were aware that they are at the peak of their stock price, and they sold. Right now, we can see that in the last, a few months ago, we can see that they were buying, and they were buying also close to the million mark. So that's kind of in a nutshell the things that you can watch out for. It's very beginner friendly, and you guys can see this information on the websites that I taught you, and that it's easy to remember. I tried to stay away from too many financials, as because if you're not a professional money manager, usually it's not going to give you a lot of insight. But the things that I taught you guys today do give you insight, especially when you layer technical analysis with fundamental analysis and kind of have a forward thinking mentality, what's going to happen in the future and why. Also, keep track of the different news, the different government news. So what we can expect, we're having Exxon Mobil publish their report on Friday. Guys, have a look at the forecast, right? We have negative 0.62 for per share. So what that means is that they're actually going to be losing money. So despite they have a revenue of $37 billion, they also have a lot of debt. They had borrowed a lot of money, both from the Federal Reserve and from institutional banks, and they have to pay that money back. They also have equipment that they need to uphold, and they also need to pay salaries. So that's the reason that investors like you and I, we're going to make negative earnings per share if we own stocks of that company. So basically, you don't want to own stocks of that company when they are making a earnings report, when they have their earnings report on Friday. So basically, again, what you want to wait for is for a down day. So we are trading on the 10-minute graph. We're going down severely. You want to go ahead and get in on a sell position to do that. You can use any kind of indicator. Make sure that if you're like right here, we're in a flat. So the MACD would be a good thing for us to use. And what do we see here? Well, we're dropping down, but we haven't broken the lows of last week. So what we're doing here is we're kind of, despite us being bearish on the stock in general, our indicators are showing us that, hey, watch out, we might be close to a turnaround. So what that means is that, hey, this may be either a difficult trading situation, or it's going to be a fade, and you want to be on the right side of the fade, meaning we're going up. So quickly, I want to tell you guys of a competition that we have. So here, you guys, I'm going to give you a link to the post. Make sure that you participate in this post. What you have to do is comment on the post and leave your account number. We are going to have a raffle next week where we're going to randomly pick one of you lucky winners and give you guys prizes. So make sure that you are participating in the competition. Another thing is, after the video comes out, the one that you're looking at right now, leave a comment. Right now, you guys are writing in chat. In chat, we can't find a winner. So if you're leaving your account number in chat, hey, it doesn't matter. But if you wait for the video to get published, say 15 minutes after I click the finish button, and you guys comment on the video and then leave your account number, those will be active in the raffle, and you guys can win risk-free trades, I believe, and some other goodies from the company. Again, just a way of saying thank you guys for participating in our community. Now, I want to spend a few minutes talking to you guys about your questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions, so let me go and see if I can help you. I'll start from the top. I hope you guys didn't flood with a bunch of comments. So I want to give a warm welcome to Anurag Pal, Dr. J. Ramadevi. Anurag Pal is very helpful in chat. We have some people from Spain or from Brazil. Very nice to have you guys with us. Krungthep Buntawara, hello. Jiang Vo, hey, welcome. MG from Kerala, awesome. Ravi Singh, thank you for participating. Herman Susanto, awesome, you guys. Subikimi, all right, visible and audible. Shiv Jai, hello, welcome. All right, you guys. Good stuff. Bonus, face down, okay. So I'm just quickly looking through your questions. It doesn't look like there's too many. So global feed, you asked about the strategy for non-VIPs. I covered that. All the strategies I taught you guys today were for you, for regular people, non-VIPs. Could you please explain this strategy once? So for those of you that maybe didn't catch my original ideas and the different indicators that I use, you guys can go ahead and watch the video from the beginning. You can, watch it in double time. There's a way to increase the video speed. I believe I never watch a video at normal speed ever, like for the last 10 years, just because my time is precious and so is yours. So if you guys missed anything, go ahead and rewind the video. It will be available for you as much as you like. Also, you can share it with your friends on social media so that they can also participate in the kind of profession, in the craft that you are now learning. And I congratulate you on taking this step. So no, I'm not going to open any positions today on FTT. Today was just analysis. So Soman Paul, you want to see Reliance Industry in Forex chat. Could you clarify on that question what you mean by that? In Forex chart, I mean? So good question. Subikini is asking, he's having difficulty setting accurate stop loss and take profit for short trades in Forex. Now, when you are trading that kind of market, you excuse me. You have to take into account volatility. Some certain pairs, they increase in volatility when there's news catalysts, and sometimes the news catalyst isn't something that you can catch on investing or wherever your uh, do we not have the economic calendar here anymore? Interesting. So wherever your economic calendar is, sometimes there's events that don't cover that. That's why it's important to kind of read things like Bloomberg, like Briefing, like the Wall Street Journal. You guys can use these different financial media outlets like Reuters. I'm sure in your country you have your own financial news company. You can follow them. It doesn't take me more than half an hour usually to get caught up to speed to the main things that's going on. And if you're trading US currency, you better be aware of what's going on in the US news sphere. So there you go. All right. Hello, sir. Can you help me place a trade up or down in a 15-minute time range just to avoid loss? You have to take responsibility for your trades, you guys, but thank you so much for asking that. Best time for trading, Global Feed, another really good question. So the best time to trade, if you're trading the stock market and you're looking to catch a position during the day, like say you're a day trader, you want to trade in the first hour. Also, the last hour can be really good. Okay. I thought all right. Minimum deposit for a risk-free trade. You don't have to deposit anything to make that money. Improve your price action based on 15-minute time frame. Could be the higher your time frame, the better, the more reliable your signal is. And absolutely, Sagar Sani, very good comment, is that you also can trade, if you're trading European stocks, obviously it's better to trade during that time. But if you're trading on Forex, then the US European time session is the best. Cameroon, Subikimi, hey, welcome from Cameroon. Balochistan, welcome. Wow, first person I know from Balochistan. Really good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the video. I'm glad that you learned maybe a few things. If you could hit that thumbs up, I'll know that you appreciate the work that we do. Other than that, that's it for today. We are running up to close to 40 minutes. So thank you guys so much for your input, for your time. I wish you guys good luck trading out there, and I wish that you would make some money during the earnings reports this week. Thank you guys, and see you next time. Peace.